Matt, you're up first.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. My name is Matt O'Shea. I'm your 19th Ward Alderman. It is my pleasure to welcome all of you to our second in the Smart Tech Seniors 3.0 series. We are thrilled that nearly 150 local residents have registered for our classes today. I'd like to especially thank my dear friend, Melody Camp, a civic leader in our community for many years. Melody is the owner of Smart Computing Incorporated. She offers computer services and consulting for more than 30 years. I hope that you will ask her questions that you may have. She's always here to help. With Illinois still facing Tier 3 restrictions due to the prevalence of COVID-19, safety and social distancing are more important than ever. Yet all of us yearn for the company of our family and friends. Technology builds bridges in so many ways. A better understanding of how to use those tools is important now more than ever. Today, we'll learn about creating groups to receive a single email, taking, printing, and sharing photographs, joining Facebook groups, and attending online group meetings. These skills can bring smiles during these most difficult times. Beverly Area Planning Association Executive Director Mary Jo Viero and I have organized Smart Tech Seniors 3.0. We're joined today by our sponsors, Illinois State Senator Bill Cunningham, Illinois State Representative Fran Hurley, Illinois State Representative Kelly Burke, our friends at Mercy Circle and Smith Village, all who have generously co-sponsored bringing this to all of you. Recordings of all classes are on our website. Copies of Melody's presentations, including her helpful hints, can be downloaded and printed from there as well. Just visit bappa.org or my website, the19thward.com. Today's presentation will be posted before the end of the week. And please share these tools with your friends and neighbors, some of whom might not have been able to join us today. Be sure to visit the website where you registered today to see our lineup for more classes beginning in 2021. I believe our next class is on Thursday, January the 7th. We would all love to hear your thoughts. Back to you, Melody, but all of you, thank you for being a part of this, and please be safe.
Thanks, Matt. Let's do a few housekeeping tips before I get started. You're all muted until the end, and then we'll open up the conversation to everyone. If you have questions during my presentation, jot a question down on a notepad, or if you've mastered putting your question in chat, enter your question in chat, and Torno will be watching those for so we can answer them at the end. I know last time several of you put very good chat questions on, so we look forward to that again. How many of you, of those that I can kind of see, how many of you have used Zoom since we last got together? Show me a thumbs up. Okay, great, wonderful. Well, today you're going to get a little bit of a repeat because we marketed this for Facebook groups and group meetings. So for those of you who are at the last meeting, you're just going to get a little second dose of it. And I hope that's okay with you in the early slides, and then it'll all be new stuff after that. So let me share my screen. Okay. Whoop, went too far. Just a reminder, Androids are not all alike. So I have to kind of make sure I stay with standard products on most Androids when I talk to you about what you can do. But there are great resources on Google, and I'm going to share a couple of them as we go through this presentation. But you can Google information about your specific phone and probably find something, including a YouTube. Best Buy has a lot of YouTubes out there on specific products and how to use them. Remember, your apps icon is one of the most important icons on your Android device. And it's the little, usually it looks like this little 9-dot icon here on my screen. And within the apps, within the apps drawer, you will find Play Store. And Play Store is where you go to download apps that you don't have on your device if you need them. I just thought I'd share a little market information. I can't help it. It's the researcher in me. So as I was looking at 34% of the people registered for Android and 66% registered for iOS. So I said, how does that compare to what we know about the marketplace? Well, it turns out that 73% of the global world market uses Android and 26% use iOS. A lot of that can be explained by, Google allows its operating system, its Android operating system, to be used by multiple manufacturers, and Apple only lets itself use its operating system. In the US, Androids have eked out a tiny margin over iOS products at 51%. Then I just thought, oh, I'll look at kind of a local MailChimp database that I maintain, 3 or 4 of them that total about 3,000 people, and see how that splits out, because MailChimp tells me what systems people are using. And about 10% of the people in that database used Android and 90% iOS. If you want to know more, I've added the link because it was an interesting story to read. So when you get my notes, you'll get that link and can check out more information if you'd like. So today we're going to talk about Zoom meetings briefly, because we really covered that at the last session. We'll talk very briefly about Facebook Live. We'll do a little bit more with Facebook groups than we did last 2 weeks ago. Then we're going to get into how to set up groups in your contacts, how to email to groups, how to message to groups, taking photos, creating videos, finding and sharing photos and videos, printing videos. And then I have a little 12-day challenge for you, since the topic today was 12 days before Christmas. So just as a reminder, I think I told you my recommendation at the end of the last session was to use Zoom for group meetings. It's just the easiest, because you don't have to have an account. If somebody asks you to join a group, join a Zoom meeting, you just click on the link they sent you, and it's very easy to get in. Others are not quite that straightforward. If you want to set up a Zoom meeting, remember I said you can invite someone by joining. You have to sign up at Zoom. And once you have an account, you can invite people to the meeting that you host. The only thing to keep in mind is a Zoom meeting is free for however long you want to talk, as long as it's just 2 computers connecting. If you have more people connecting, then you're going to get cut off at 40 minutes unless you have a paid account. So that's something to keep in mind. And again, I have put a link here at Zoom to learn more about how to get started for new users when you want to set up a Zoom meeting. Here, this should look familiar to some of you. When you set up a Zoom meeting, you come up immediately. This is not me, but this is my backyard with my long deceased puppy dog who I loved. So that came up, and now I can invite people. So I go down here to invite. And when I do that, a dialog box comes up, and I can go to my default email, which for me happens to be Outlook. I can go to Gmail, I can go to Yahoo Mail, or I can copy the invite link or copy the invitation and take it and paste it into an email. But now we're going to be talking about doing that with groups. And as you all know, this is what it can look like when everybody gets on. We end up with multiple people on here visiting. And I heard a lot of stories over Thanksgiving about, a friend was telling me that they had like 40 some family members that they would not have seen over Thanksgiving, but Zoom gave them the opportunity to keep inviting people to be part of the meeting. So it turned out being very enjoyable for that friend. Other apps for visiting, as we talked about last time, are Duo and WhatsApp. The groups you create in your contacts on your Android cannot be used in these apps. People have to be a member within those apps, and then you create groups within each of those apps. Still, it's a very simple process, but you just can't create one group, unfortunately, that works across all products. Facebook Live, we talked about, it's a little bit more cumbersome to have a meeting on Facebook Live. It's easy to do, but takes a little bit more effort than Zoom. So what we have seen mostly is people use Facebook Live to stream their church services, choir, teaching, anything where you can push something out to an audience. So again, I've given you a new link to help search for Facebook Live if you want to work with Facebook Live. Now there are a lot of videos out on Facebook already, and many of them are live. So if you'll see here, the second icon, the one I'm circling, is videos on Facebook. So if I go over here and I look, I have a bunch of saved videos, but I also have a watch list. So I've decided I want those to let me know if something's going on. And what happens here in this second column is recent activity shows up. So as soon as you click on videos, you can see recent videos, videos that are live, and then you can go to ones that you want to watch. Groups. Here, if I back up, let me just back up. This is, see this icon, the one that looks like little people? Well, that's your groups. So if you click on that, you can go over and see groups that you're a part of. Like I'm part of 19th Ward Neighbors, Moms of Beverly, South Side of Chicago, my high school class. So I belong to several groups, and I can check them out anytime I want to by coming here. But also the most recent activity of my groups will show up when I click on groups. Again, I've given you a Facebook link to learn more about groups. So I don't know why I chose this, but I decide if you want to search for a group that you want to join, I just typed in the search bar here the word crime, and up came several different crime groups. I already belonged to Beverly Mount Greenwood Parents Crime Blotter, so I did not use that as an example because I wanted to show you what happens if you want to join a group. So I don't belong to Crime Watchers of Lansing, Illinois. So I pull that up. I chose that from the list on the previous page, and I can click on join the group. Some groups will only, they have to approve you to join, and some groups will let you join automatically. So you'll find out after you click on join the group. So I think that's kind of a review of the stuff we did on the 19th. And if there are people on the call who didn't get enough, my notes are in my presentations are at the 19th Ward website. So you can go there or at bapa.org and pick them up. Now, the rest of this material should all be new for everyone. So this is about creating your own groups. The easiest way to do that so they can be shared across multiple Android applications is to go to contacts. You can see on my Android Samsung phone, contacts looks like is the orange with the one person inside. I drew an arrow to it. But it may have 3 people in it. It may look like an address book, but it should have something similar to these with the word contacts underneath. So you need to find your contacts app. And then I'm going to walk you through creating groups, adding members, removing members, and deleting groups. So to create a group, open your contacts app, then tap on the menu button that has 3 parallel bars. Choose groups, and then there should be a someplace on the screen will be create a group. On mine, it's at the bottom. On some, it's at the top. So you create a group, and then what happens is this screen on the right comes up. So you can name your group, and then you can start adding members, and then save. I'm going to show you an example of what exists. This is a very short video.
Hi friends. Samsung Galaxy S4 offers the convenience to create groups of contacts to organize them in a clutter-free way. Do you want to add contacts to a contact group? Here's how it's done. A slight variation in the screen transitions when compared to the actual device screen transitions will be noticed by you here. On the home screen, tap on the Contacts icon. Tap on the Groups tab. Tap to select a group name. Now tap on the Add Members icon. Select the contact you wish to add to the group. Tap on Done to save. See, that wasn't hard at all. Thanks for watching.
I want you to see that there are some really short videos out there that could be helpful. That's a Samsung phone that is different than the one I use, so you can see it had a little different touch on how you add groups to your contacts. Now let's say we want to delete a group. Again, you just open your contact, tap on the menu, choose the group. I chose Chapped. And then tap on the little 3-dot menu item here on the right and choose delete. And when you choose delete, it's going to ask you if you want to delete the group only or group and members. For me, I would usually only delete the group because I probably want to keep the members in my contact database. If you do group and members, it's going to delete it from your contact database. Add or delete members. Again, we're looking at pretty much the same process. Open your contacts, tap your menu, choose your group. This time though, you're going to edit for member. So on my Samsung, edit is this little pencil. You may just have the word edit, who knows? It varies by. We would add a member by clicking on add a member. If you want to delete a member, you just go out to this little minus bar to the right of the person's name, click on that, and it'll remove them. Now, group emails and messages. I will tell you as we start this, you can do group emails or messages from contacts, but you can't do group messages from messages that I can find. So if you're wanting to do a group message, I would suggest you do it from contacts. So again, you open your contacts, tap on your menu, choose your group, tap on your menu, and then what comes up is you can delete, send a message, or send an email. So if you send an email, your email program comes up already ready to go to that group. You put your message in and send it. Or if you want to send a message instead of an email, the same thing, just tap on send message here. Your message program will come up and you can type your message and send. As I mentioned, you can do this also with Duo and WhatsApp, both very good programs for sharing with people, talking to a group of people, but you'll have to create your groups in those apps and people have to be members of Duo or members of WhatsApp in order for you to do that. Okay, now I'll show you group emails outside of contacts. So this time you choose email. In my Android, the email looks like the envelope. Mine has a red background with a white envelope. In some, it looks like this @ sign. And in some, it just looks like an envelope with M for mail. So you would choose your email app, compose your note, and then up at the top, there's a little icon of a person. You click on that and you can either stay with individuals or go to groups. And if you go to groups, you can choose the group, enter your message and send. Again, I created a link down. Oh, I wanted to mention to you that if you use Gmail, and I don't know how many of you do, but if you use Gmail, groups are known as labels in Gmail, not as groups. So that's important to remember. And I've created a link for creating groups in Gmail for those of you who use Gmail as your default rather than the Android contacts. Okay, photos and videos. Again, we go to our applications and find camera. And camera mine looks like this first one, but it can look like a camera or it can look like a video camera or some variation. So you start the camera app, you choose photo. As you can see down here, I'm circling the photo, point the camera at the subject, and then touch the shutter icon, which is this center button that's white. You listen for a noise, and when the photo is snapped, you'll hear a click and you're done. And it automatically puts it into the gallery, which is over here to the left. So you can access it by going to the gallery on your left, or you can open up your gallery application, which may be called pictures, may be called photos, may be called, I don't know what else, but generally gallery, photos, pictures. Mine happens to be called gallery. These are the icons you might see associated with your photo gallery. So you would open up your gallery. I opened mine and I found a photo I would like to send. So down here, this little icon, this diamond lying on its side, is your share option. So once you hit share, you can choose email and then attach the photo to the email and send it. Or you also have an option of choosing a message, and you can attach it to a message and send. There are also lots of other options. You can attach, you can send to Facebook, you can send to Instagram. Again, I may try to search for a good link for you and add in my notes of various places you could share your photos. For videos, it's pretty much the same process. We start the camera app. This time we choose video. On mine, once I hit video, the center button changes to white with a little red in it for record. On some phones, the little red button's to the right of the white for the video. So just look for a record button. Point the camera at the subject, touch that record button, and it'll change, it'll stop, it will look like this. So then you click on it again to stop the recording. Again, it goes into your camera app or into your gallery. I'll just caution you that attaching videos in videos can be huge. So attaching them in a message can sometimes be problematic, as some of my friends have discovered, or attaching them to an email may be problematic if they're too large. So sometimes people will post them on Facebook or Instagram or Google Photos or YouTube rather than try to email videos. Printing photos, I don't do much printing, but I have friends who do. And a lot of them use online services like MPix, Printique, Snapfish, Shutterfly, Nations Photo Lab. The one that I read that seems to be the easiest is Snapfish, but a lot of people I know use Shutterfly, and they will send Christmas cards using Shutterfly. They'll have family photos, send it off to Shutterfly, get all the copies back, and then send them to friends. So you get quality photos by sending them to online services. The cheaper ones may not have the quality that the more expensive ones have, but you pay more for the more expensive ones. So you can read more about them. I found a good article on Wired.com about the best photo printing services. So you can read about them, and if you're interested, test one of them. You can also go to Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and have your photos printed. And Amazon photo printing is also available. If you want to know about photo services near you, just Google photo printing services near me and you'll get a list. I'm giving you the websites for those 5 online services. So if you want to go check them out, you'll have those links in my notes. Now here's some tips. You need to upload high resolution images for the best quality. And I'll talk in a few minutes about what that looks like. You can print a photo to a photo printer if you have one that looks pretty high quality. I used to have a photo printer, and I would print photos for family members and send them. You may want to upload your photos from your phone to your computer for processing. I don't find that processing things from my phone is as easy as working with it on my computer. So oftentimes I upload it or I email it to myself and deal with it on my regular computer. Here are the minimum resolution requirements for the size photo you want. And I know on my, if I upload an image to my computer, I can right click on the image and check the properties and find out what the pixels are to know whether it's going to meet the minimum requirements. I checked one last night that was 960 by 960. So I know it would be good for a 4x6 print. Might be okay for a 5x7, but definitely not good for an 8x10 or a 16x20. So I have a challenge for you. Since we're calling this 12 Days of Christmas, connecting, I thought that if you had a project for the next 12 days, it might be helpful in applying what we have worked on today. So many of you have already achieved the first one. You get to tick that one off. You've started or joined a Zoom meeting. The second day, you might search Facebook groups to see if there's a group you want to join. On the third day, you might join a Facebook group. On the fourth, you might create your first contact group if you haven't done that before. And you might want to create a small group to test with so that you can email that small group or message that small group. Then on the seventh day, you can add or delete a member from the group. The eighth day, take a photo. The ninth day, email or message a photo. Take a video, share a video, and then Google a print option to learn more about printing photos. So on that, I hope that you've gotten something out of this session on creating groups and visiting and sharing groups, and we'll go to the Q&A, and I'm going to stop my share and we can all get to see one another. Okay, so do we have any questions in chat?
No, so far no questions yet, but I'm encouraging everyone to drop a question in there. I know that was a lot, so feel free to drop a question in the chat box.
And if you want to unmute them, if somebody wants to ask a question, I think we could probably do that now, don't you, Tornu?
All right, that's fine. We can unmute people. Let's see.
Give me a thumbs up if you thought you learned something new today. Good, 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 good. Does anybody have a question?
Yes, I think something's coming through. Let me see.
Okay.
All righty, let's see. Unfortunately, this is from a telephone number, so I don't see the person's name, but it says, how can apps be deleted from your phone or from the phone? How can apps be deleted from the phone?
I see who that is. And I will include a note on how to do that with an image on how to do that in my notes that we upload or that I send you, because I'll be sending you those who attended will get a copy of my presentation and I will send you a note on how to do that.
There you go. So a question that most people might have is, so I've taken these photos and they're on my phone. Will it be there forever? And if so, how do I store them, safely?
Okay. A lot of people have lost photos when they switched phones and they had not backed them up. So I encourage people to back their photos up to the cloud. That's one option. I back mine up to my computer. So I hook my phone up with the USB cable and copy my photos from my phone to my computer. And then I back everything on my computer up to the cloud using a program called Carbonite, so that I intend never to lose anything. I've been through that and I don't want that to happen again. So I'm very secure that if my computer or my phone dies, I've got everything backed up and can get my hands on it. Your phone will photos can be real memory hogs.
Mm-hmm.
and you can run out of space very quickly with photos. So I think it's pretty important, unless you have a phone with a lot of space, it's pretty important to back them up someplace and clean them off your phone occasionally, because your phone will slow down, or you can't put an app on it, or you'll suddenly run into trouble with it. I have 128 gigabyte phone, but I think, you know, it can range from 8 to more than 128. So that's the way I deal with it.
That's a good one. And heads up to everyone, I'm trying to unmute you all. So if you get a prompt that says, do you want to be unmuted? You can just click unmute. So just in case you have any questions around that you need to voice up. Or if you like, you can continue to just drop the questions in the chat. That's totally fine.
I have a question.
Yes.
How do you use a flash drive? I've heard of flash drives. How do you use one? Where do you buy them? Is there a significance in using them? Or like Melody said, just use the cloud?
I use flash drives. I use them primarily on my computers. I haven't used one on a tablet or my phone, because again, I just back mine up to my computer. And then if I wanted to, a lot of times people give me videos on a thumb drive. So all they've done is they've copied a video from their computer to a thumb drive. They send it to me and they ask me to edit it. So then I can edit it and give it back to them on a thumb drive, and then they put it back on their computer. Thumb drives are, I don't think of them as a great place to store stuff. They're a great way to share things with other people. They can go bad, and if they go bad, you've lost something. Does that help?
Yes, so I'm asking again, which is better? Probably the cloud, since that's more current.
I think the cloud is better than, it's not that it's more current, it's just, it's probably a safer place to back your stuff up than a thumb drive would be. You can also lose your thumb drive. And then what do you do?
It wasn't muted.
Christine, do you have a question?
Oh, do you have a question?
No,
No, thank you.
thank you.
No problem.
Okay, Peace, was I able to answer your question adequately?
The cloud, is that on our laptops as well as I did see one on the phone, but how do you access the cloud?
Oh, it depends on what you are using. What kind of phone do you have, for instance?
The Android, Samsung.
Samsung. Samsung offers
Which one?
cloud backup. So you could back it up to Samsung's cloud. And then all you would have to do is click on that app to see what's out there on the cloud. That's helpful. That's similar to the iPhone's backup, so that when people change phones, you can bring things back down from the Samsung cloud right to your phone. I am sure almost every manufacturer has some cloud backup. I just use a global backup called Carbonite that just backs up everything for me, all my documents, my photos, my phone, my emails, my life.
Thank
My
you.
life is out there.
Yes, you did answer the question. Thank you, Melody.
You are quite welcome, Peace.
So Melody, how come when I take my photo, sometimes they come up blurry? What causes that?
Ooh. Oh boy, if anybody knows the answer other than you didn't hold your camera steady. That's usually when it comes out blurry for me. When I haven't held my phone steady, I get a really blurry picture, so I delete it. And I don't realize that I haven't held the phone steady when I've done it.
You're getting a thumbs up. I think people can relate to that. Yeah. Any other questions? So I have a lot of questions. I am iPhone user. I'm not an Android user. So this is actually very informative for me because I'm very much so elementary when it comes to Android. So I always
So
have,
are we going to convert you to Android?
I know maybe you might at the end of this. Who knows? Who knows?
Okay, what question do you have then, Torno?
Yeah, so with regards to Facebook, what are some security issues that people might want to be aware of around safety, you know, posting things in groups? What are some safety things that people might not be aware of that you think might be important to
Oh, wow.
be mindful?
Wow. That's one I haven't really thought about. I try to be very careful about what I post. And I try to be very careful about what I read and what links I click on. I like to know the source of the link. I won't just click on any link that comes into my Facebook. I'm afraid it might take me to a website I don't want to be in. So I'm just really careful. If I know it's the Wall Street Journal or New York Times, I'll click on it. But other than that, I'm really very careful on links. Does that help?
Yeah, what about joining a group? What are some safety things? I know you give an example of how to join a group, but what are some safety things to consider before joining a group?
I haven't had any trouble when I've joined groups. I've joined a group or two that I then decided I wanted to back out of because I didn't think the group served a good purpose for me. And there was maybe a little bit too much anger being expressed. So for me, I want my groups to be informative and uplifting. I don't want them to be a complaint group. So, but that's not really safety or security. And you'll notice that if you looked at my groups, most of them tend to be local. So I know most of the people who are in those groups, or know many of the people are in those groups.
And then how do I post on Facebook? How do I post pictures? I know you talked about sharing photos, but can you refresh our minds on how do we post pictures on Facebook? And then how do we tag, say if you wanted to post a picture of Melvin, how do you post a picture of you and Melvin went to dinner or something and you want to tag him on it? How do you post a picture and how do you get him to be aware that you posted a picture by tagging him? How do you do that?
Okay, I'm going to see if I can go to my Google and I will go to Facebook. Hopefully I can get in on this one. Oh, there's my Facebook. I'm usually not on this when I go to Facebook. So, okay, let's say I want to post a photo. So this says, what's on your mind, Melody? So I do photo and video. So in this case, I've got photos on this desktop, but if I were on my iPhone, it'd be the same thing. So I would go find the photo I want to share. I would click on it, open it. Okay, and so there's a blurry photo.
There's a blurry photo. See, it happens not only to me.
Yeah, it happens to me. So there's a blurry photo. So then what I could do is I could add, this happens to be my next door neighbor's two kids when they were really, really young. So I could put a note to her. I can tag them. So I hit edit. I can tag the photo. I can click on the photo and I can put his name. I'm not going to do this because these are kids and I don't have permission from my neighbor to do that.
Mhm,
But that's how easy it is. You just go to your Facebook
mhm.
and then you can add a photo or a video, add it, put a note, and then within the photo, you can tag somebody so that they know you've tagged them.
And you have to be friends with them, right? On Facebook
Yes.
before you can tag them.
Yes. Yes, you can't tag them unless you're friends.
So if Melvin isn't on Facebook and you're on Facebook, he can't be mad at you for you not tagging him because he's not there.
Right.
Okay. Any other questions, guys? Feel free to drop it in the chat. I'm just going to check the chat and see if I missed anything from anyone.
I have a question. Is 08963 Martin?
I'm not sure. I think that person might have dropped.
Okay.
Got that.
Okay. I have a couple questions for you guys, and then I think we're probably about ready to wrap up if you have no more questions for me. I'm interested, was the pacing good today? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
And you can also communicate. I've unmuted, I think, everyone for the most part, unless people chose to be muted. So feel free to speak if you need to respond.
For the next one, are there any recommendations you would make to me for changes or what I might do differently to make it beneficial to you? Because this is for you, not me. Are you all rating me perfect? I love you. You're all rating me perfect. Okay. It's probably the first time in my life I've been rated perfect.
Oh.
Oh, Matt, did you want to say something? Because you're muted.
No, I just wanted to say, Melody, thank you so much for putting this on. I hope that this is helpful to everybody as a way to stay connected, especially during these difficult times. But this is great. And to all our seniors, thanks so much for being a part of this. I look forward to being a part of these in the future. Be safe, everybody.
A question just popped up. Thank you, Matt. A question just popped up real quick in the chat. I think this came from Eric Moon. He said, could you talk us through using Chicago 311? I'm not sure if that's addressed to Matt or if that's addressed to Melody, but he wants to know if someone can talk through using Chicago 311.
I could answer that, and that for folks that want to report a city service request, you can go to 311 yourselves. You can call, or you can email me at my office for city services. My email is mattoshea@the19thward.com. And when someone emails us a 311 request, we will get back to them with that service request number that they can then track themselves. In other words, you know, if you were to call up and order a garbage can, report a street light out, as much as we'd like to hope that maybe they'd fix that day or drop off a new garbage can that day, oftentimes it takes several days, several weeks, but you can track that request through the 311 system. And if you email me, we will respond and give you that. But it's, you know, oftentimes people just assume someone else has called in that the streetlights were out. And oftentimes we find out no one's reported it. So feel free to email me, or you can call 311 yourselves, folks.
And Matt, for your email, is there apostrophe between the O and the S, or is it just one word, Matt O'Shea?
All one word, MATTOSHEA THE19THWARD.com.
I'm going to drop that in the chat for everyone in case people needed it. And Eric would like to know when the next Zoom is.
December,
January 7th.
January 7th. Thanks, Matt. I'm glad I have about a month to get ready for the next one. Oh, where can we get the recording of this meeting? At the19thward.com or at bappa.org. And they should be available hopefully by tomorrow. If not by tomorrow, then definitely by Monday, but hopefully tomorrow. And I will be sending out black and white copies of my slides to all of you. I can also send color if you'd like color. I can put both. I know if people want to print, then printing in color can be pretty ridiculous. So that's why I usually send black and white. Do people want both? Show me your hands if you do. Black and white, okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone. I hope you have a great holiday and look forward to seeing these familiar faces again in January.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.